Ooh, let me clear my throat again. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm recording this in the afternoon. Whatever time you're watching it, whatever, good, whatever. My name is Chimaoge. You can also call me Maoge. Welcome to ChimaogesComments. I know it's been a while since I've posted a video. I've been resting. I've also been thinking, coming up with new ideas. This video is the product of those new ideas. This video is called P. Diddy is clearly guilty. I have a note card with me there on the floor here. P. Diddy is clearly guilty. It's meant to highlight an art piece I made of the same name. Those of you who've been following me everywhere know that I've been making more art, and I'm making that the center of my operation. So going forward, every video is to highlight an art piece. Obviously, the video itself is of value, but that'll be the jumping off point for my videos. And also, excuse the dryness of my lips. Just, I don't know. That's just kind of how things have been going on. But anyway, let me get into it. So I'm gonna give you guys 6 points. 6 points today. I'm gonna be sitting and standing as necessary, and also have a soccer ball here for me to kick around. I'll give you 6 points, and I'm gonna give them to you twice each. I'm gonna go through once, take a break, then go again. The first 2 points will be about the central idea of the art piece. The next 3 points will be highlighting key points or key pieces of the art piece itself. And then the 6th point is just some bonus information for your higher development. All right, let's go. So the title of the art piece, and also the title of this video, is P. Diddy is clearly guilty. P. Diddy is clearly guilty. You can see the art piece on the thumbnail. I haven't made it yet, but I know it'll be. The art piece will be the center of the thumbnail. The thumbnail will have some extra. Let's go. The first point is that P. Diddy is guilty as charged by U.S. law. P. Diddy is guilty as charged by U.S. law. Now, I understand that P. Diddy, and for those of you who don't know who he is, I know most people know who he is. P. Diddy's legal name is Sean Combs. He's also gone by Puff Daddy in the past, and Puff. P. Diddy, as he now goes by, is a businessman, entertainer, musician, commonly called rapper. He's been famous since the 1990s as part of what is known as hip hop. And then he's branched out into other ventures. But he's also a criminal. He's been accused very credibly by multiple women of harming them, both in romantic situations and non-romantic situations. And he has also been accused of harm by many men. So he's just someone who harms people. Now, he was tried for harming some women in New York, and he was charged with 5 things. He was acquitted of 3 things, and he was convicted of 2 other things. The 2 things he was convicted of were not as serious as the 3 things he was acquitted of. However, those things could possibly land him in jail for up to 20 years. And in context, those lesser charges suggest, again, in context, I don't want to go into those too much, but in context, those lesser charges suggest he was involved in what would have been necessary to convict the higher crimes. Now, I understand that the court acquitted P. Diddy of these crimes, but as we know, many miscarriages of justice happen in the U.S. court of law in today's society, and I believe that was simply another one. Evidence was overwhelming against him, and for whatever reason, the court decided to acquit him, but that was wrong. Given that his character has been well displayed in public and his crimes are on video, literally he is on video harming Cassie Ventura, who, as I'll bring up again later, he settled with for $20 million. Innocent people, generally speaking, do not settle for $20 million. It's pretty clear he's guilty as charged by U.S. law. There's simply a miscarriage of justice. So that's point 1. Point 2 is that P. Diddy is clearly guilty of far more other crimes. Again, he was not charged with everything he has done. Some people who testified against him, the things they testified about were not up for debate in the courtroom, so to speak, or at least he wasn't charged with those things. But he's clearly guilty of those things. I mean, if you just do your research, it's all over the place. So anyway, that's the central idea. P. Diddy is clearly guilty. And I must say, many people, particularly many men, there have been some women, but many men have come out just defending him. That doesn't make sense, and that's a disgrace. This guy is a criminal, and he should be excluded from society, and his victims should get, the help they need to recover. Anyway, let me take a small break. As you all know, I've been working on my health. This format is part of it. But anyway, let's go. Next 3 points. I want to describe what is in the art piece itself. So the first thing is that in the art piece, you'll see that P. Diddy is depicted in a stained glass window. P. Diddy is depicted in a stained glass window. Again, I created this art piece myself using a combination of things. Really, I did it on Canva. I used their photo, I guess, generating tool, but then I also stitched some things together. So I did all that. But anyway, so P. Diddy is depicted in a stained glass window. And that's really meant to symbolize how evil he is, because stained glass, again, I've done my research, and as you all know, I also consult with spiritual sources, and I observe and I think about things. Stained glass window, if someone is represented in stained glass, that's really meant to depict them as evil. So for example, in a lot of Catholic churches, stained glass windows are used to depict saints. A lot of those saints were actually evil people in the past. The Catholic Church glorifies a lot of evil people. If you look through history, a lot of them committed crimes and the church glorifies them. But anyway, I depicted P. Diddy in stained glass to symbolize that he's an evil person. The second point, this is point 4 overall, but the second point about the art piece itself is that the image of P. Diddy is surrounded in a red glow. Red does not necessarily mean that someone's evil, but again, in this context, the red is meant to highlight that he's an evil person, because that's one way to depict that someone's evil. Again, red does not necessarily mean evil. It depends on the overall context. But then also, I put him in red just so that the image would stand out. And then the fifth and final piece overall, well, before the extra piece, is that P. Diddy is dressed like the enemy. P. Diddy is dressed like the enemy. I know this one will be controversial to you all, but I'm trying to get you all to stop wearing suits and ties. As you all know, I've talked before about various supernatural entities that people are not as conscious of today, and how those inform evil in the world today. White people who unfortunately dominate the earth through racism and their system of oppression have drawn upon these supernatural entities, both as ideas and then also in the details of what they do in order to enhance their impression. And probably the chief one they've drawn off, or at least one of the chief ones, is the enemy. In my language, you would call him ele. You could also call it the deer. I mean, that's how you translate it into Latin, which is the base of English. And another way of translating that is the watcher, also the savage, right? Because think about if the biggest thing you could say about someone or something else is that it just looks at things, that's pretty savage. It doesn't even greet you. You understand? So anyway, when the enemy, because you can also call him the enemy, right? And I'll talk about it in the future videos. When the enemy dresses up in a way that requires him to stand on all fours, he often wears what we call a suit and tie. P. Diddy in this image is depicted wearing a suit and a bow tie. That is one of the dominant forms of the enemy when he dresses like that. Now, I know this will be controversial to a lot of you, but I want to say 2 things about that. One, that style of dress is heavily associated with oppressive white people. Think about that. And 2, it's not comfortable. It is not comfortable. Really, in the past, when men would dress like that, it was a test of strength. And I suspect a lot of men still do it for that reason. But anyway, the point is that is evil dressing. It's not even healthy for a human being. Don't dress like that. Dress comfortably. Don't hurt yourself. But anyway, that's that. Now on to the bonus point before I take my break. Put turmeric in your food. Put turmeric in your food. It's good. It has lots of health benefits and it'll make it taste better. But especially the health benefits are one I want to highlight. That's just something for your higher development. Anyway, let me take a short break and then I'll come back and deliver these points again just to make sure that, they sink in. All right. Whew. right, looks like I'm ready to come back. Let's go. I'll be saying the same things again just so they fall in. Again, the title of this video and the title of the art piece I'm highlighting, which again, you can view on Patreon, you can purchase it, it's just $8, is P. Diddy is clearly guilty. P. Diddy is clearly guilty. So point one, P. Diddy is guilty as charged by U.S. law. Diddy is guilty as charged by U.S. law. Again, P. Diddy was not acquitted of all crimes. Again, I'm not going to talk too much about the crimes he was committed of because, again, there are lesser crimes than the most serious ones he was convicted of. But I just want to note he was not... I mean, he could still face jail time. That's the bottom line there. But then even the ones he was acquitted of, he should have been convicted of. There are many miscarriages of justice in the U.S. court system today, and that was another one. Two, P. Diddy is guilty of far more other crimes. P. Diddy is guilty of far more other crimes, and he's been accused of committing acts of evil against you know, people who at least he's publicly been seen to have relationships with, romantic relationships. Debatable what the nature of those was, but again, he hurt them. And then there's other people, both men and women, who he's hurt that he didn't have such a relationship with. So he just hurts a lot of people. So he should be removed from society so he doesn't hurt any other people. And then, you know, people he's hurt should be helped to heal by society at large. Now, point three, these points and the next 3 points are going to be about the art piece itself. In the art piece, P. Diddy is depicted in stained glass. He's depicted in stained glass, and that's to symbolize how he's an evil person, because stained glass depictions are meant to signify that the person depicted is evil. The fourth point is that in the image, P. Diddy is surrounded by a red glow. Again, I'm talking about the image itself, which you could see in the center of the thumbnail of this video, just so you guys get an idea what it is, and also so you guys get excited and you know, purchase the art piece and the accompanying post, which is again available in my Patreon. The link is under this video. So the image of P. Diddy is surrounded by a red glow, one to symbolize the evil. Again, red does not necessarily symbolize that someone's evil, right? Red is the color of the land, really the chief color of the land, but in certain contexts, it's also the color of blood, which is one of the people and things that's part of Amadioha. You know me, I'm always talking about that. Onyeishi Akanu. Yeah, I'll go more into depth about that in the future. I've already talked, but you know. Anyway, not to go on too much about that. The whole point is that in certain contexts, though, if you show someone or something in red, it's to show that it's dangerous or evil. That's what I was going for here. And then the fifth point is that P. Diddy is dressed like the enemy. P. Diddy is dressed like the enemy. I'll say it in my language. Onyeishi. Okay, he is dressed like the deer, he is dressed like the watcher, he is dressed like the savage, he is dressed like the enemy. Suit and tie, that is the dressing of the enemy. The enemy is the worst person in existence. Okay, the reason that that kind of dressing is prevalent in our society today is because of, you know, the oppression of the white race. And they've spread a bunch of harmful practices. And I just want to note again, one, that dressing is associated with oppressive white people, just like P. Diddy. Again, he is black, but he's followed their example. And two, that dressing is not healthy, it's not comfortable. So that's what that's all about. And then point 6, the bonus point for your highest development. Please put turmeric in your food. Put turmeric in your food. I want you all to be healthy. You can cook it in there, and you can also sprinkle it on there after you've cooked something. So anyway, that's all. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, my name is Chimaoge. You can also call me Maoge. This is ChimaogesComments, my first video on here in a while. Many more to come. Thank you. See you.